Well, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Are we on?
Are we?
Is
Are
this
we?
live?
I kept seeing my face pop up and was like, oh, it's a good thing I wasn't picking my nose or something.
Wait. Is that my face? What is that?
Who is that?
Hello. Well, I'll tell you who this is. It's Wendy
Hey,
H.
Wendy H. What's up?
How are you, darling?
Nice to see you.
We're on. Yes, we're actually on for the first time in
A quarter.
about 2-3 months.
Yep. Been a quarter at least. At least.
Oh my goodness. It's one of those things that I just hadn't felt the inspiration until lately.
Well, I think that to keep it fun and fresh, you should do it. You should do it when you feel like it.
I know.
That's just my advice.
Well, hello to Miami Spice.
Miami
Wait, wrong show.
Yeah. Wrong show.
Wrong show. So excited to catch you live. I'm excited to actually be back on here to where I have control again.
Yes.
Instead of being at the whim of whoever's running the show.
It will. Yeah.
Expert.
I guess.
Claude.
Yeah, the producer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, we're glad to be back on here, guys. Like I said, it's been a couple of months, and I don't know. Mentally, there's been so much going on, at least in my head, that I'm just like, I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. And then today I was like, I feel like it. Let's do it. It's like a rave.
It is a rave.
It just pops up whenever.
Yeah, we said that before. It's a rave. Pop on.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it. Oh my goodness. And you've been so busy with all your painting streams and going on shizzies and
yeah. And that has been so much fun. I've enjoyed that quite a bit. I thought you were going to say work, and then I was going to go.
No, God, yeah, work. Who cares about that?
Well, my paycheck and bills.
Oh well, yeah,
those things.
Exactly, Miami. Darn producers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Darn producers. No, that was a lot of fun to be able to go on there with you and Shizzy.
I know, that was fun. You added quite a bit to the story, especially at the end.
Couldn't help it.
It was
I loved
so
it.
good.
I love doing that voice.
So good.
Hotel rooms. What are you talking about, Miami?
She's talking about Diva and her travels.
Oh, well.
Yep. I try to put a clip up every time I'm in a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if it's like got something notable about it.
Oh, dear Lord. All right, guys, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So,
do we have to?
Well, unless you have something else.
No more foreplay? Jeez.
Baby, I don't have a lot of time, so we just got to get to it.
Fine.
Hotel Room Chronicles.
Yes, I could do that, actually.
That's funny. One of the things that kind of inspired me to do today's episode was I was watching a couple streams, one of which was Expert's interview with Wi-Fi Chrome. The other one was some stuff that Kaiser had put up. And it kind of led me down the path of in our society, we've kind of gotten rid of the hero.
I could see that.
We don't have that anymore. It's either an anti-hero, or you look at a hero and you see, oh, well, but they do this, 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 and this. And granted, politics has a lot to do with it, because we always find somebody that comes out and makes some blustery statement, and then behind the scenes with media, you oh, there's this, there's this, there's this.
A politician that says they're pious and righteous, and then you find out.
Yeah, you find out that they've been in a hotel room with a male hooker or something.
I mean, what happens behind closed doors?
Well, and those aren't even the people I'm talking about. The people the what I'm talking about is see, I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s.
You're that old?
Yeah, I am.
Oh my God.
I'm 31. So, but I was so used to seeing movies and reading comic books and everything about heroes. You had your Superman, you had your Batman, you had Rambo to an extent. You would see all these heroes, and they were always there to get the job done.
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor is a great example.
Mm-hmm.
Princess Leia.
Ripley.
Ripley from Aliens, perfect example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman, yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Wonder Woman was I love Linda Carter, by the way.
Yeah. Classic.
But we had heroes that we would look up to. We had heroes that you didn't hear a lot about their flaws or their backstory. I mean, every hero has a weakness, true, but you didn't dive so deep into they're this, they're that, they're you didn't get into so much of the social. It was more of what the hero stood for.
So, like, that you didn't get into like their psychological backstory and their inner demons and stuff like that.
Right.
She-Ra?
Yes. She-Ra, very good example. Yes. I think that's one of your favorites, isn't it?
I did love She-Ra, but I also like Jem and the Holograms.
Ah.
Yeah. And My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
Of course, that's been tainted now.
See, and that's my point.
Right?
Anything that you like, anything you look up to, it just gets ruined. And why?
Yeah, why? Why do you do that?
It's and I'll tell you along a similar line. Remember when the Victoria's Secret models used to be hot?
Aren't they still? See, I don't pay attention to that stuff.
No, Victoria's Secret made an announcement earlier that they were going back to that because they had started using models of all different sizes, statures. And it was like, what would inspire you to buy that? What would inspire you to wear those clothes? It's seeing something that's not quite you, but it makes you feel like them wearing the clothes.
Yeah. Yes. In fact, I just read something about that in a marketing book this morning, and I meant to bring it with me to read from it.
We need the old to become new again, not take the old and reinvent the new. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Agreed.
Victoria's Secret, going back to Sexy Angels.
Sexy Angels, yeah.
But it's kind of like we've gotten to the point in our society where, we can't idolize this. We can't like this because it's not like everybody else. It's not ordinary. We need to be diverse.
Yeah.
And diversity is fine as long as something substantial comes with it. Don't have a problem with that.
Well, I think that was one of the things about the heroes of old is they were different. They were different from the mainstream. And you didn't need to appeal to the masses and their niche
Right.
demands. It appealed to everyone.
Right. And I know one of the things that I liked about watching the old, the old superhero movies, the old hero movies or whatever, was it provided an escape
Yes.
from reality,
Yeah.
but at the same time gave you something to aspire to.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be Superman, but at the same time, there are
Yeah, you are.
qualities there. Well,
Yeah, you are.
but there are qualities there that you can look up to and emulate that are more pure. It's not tainted. It's more of an example. It's not necessarily that, oh, I feel pressure that I have to look like that or, do all those things, blah, blah. No, it's what it inspired. There's no more inspiration anymore.
I think that's very true, because if there was inspiration, then we wouldn't be remaking all of the mega hits again and again and again, or doing prequels to something that had been a mega hit. What was it you were telling me about Hunger Games?
Oh yeah. Kind of let's see here. I'm cheating. I'm using no save, folks. Um about how it's more along the lines of how millennials and even what are they, Gen Z, whatever the hell they're called
I
now.
think there's Gen Alpha coming up.
Yeah, but I'm talking about currently, your 20s,
Oh,
20s
that's
types,
Gen
30s
Z.
types. Yeah. It's like
Okay.
they've forgotten that history existed before the year 2000.
Did it?
Did it? Yeah, there was and this is the part that I kind of got from Kaiser was they did an interview with the girl who's going to be in the new Hunger Games. And she was talking about what an inspiration the books were and that the author had written the first strong female character devoid of romance or some BS like that. And immediately I thought of, okay, what about Sarah Connor? What
Yeah.
about Ripley? What
Yeah.
about Princess Leia?
Yeah.
Chicks that were badass.
Yep.
That they could still have a feminine side to them, but that's not what you focused on. You focused on the fact they were a badass.
Yeah.
That was the inspiration.
Yeah, that was the inspiration. I was trying to think back on the TV shows where I wanted to emulate the lead character. And of course, I think of Sully. Wasn't that her name? From oh my gosh. Lord, it's
Oh,
not
oh, Scully.
Scully. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Scully.
X-Files.
X-Files. Jeez, I think I
How I
need something more in my coffee.
can't believe you forgot that.
That's awkward. Hmm. Oh, oh.
But
It's
yeah,
funny. Yeah. Hmm.
you wanted to emulate Scully.
Mhm,
You wanted
mhm. I did.
even to the point to where you kind of wanted to go in the FBI, didn't you?
I did wanna go in the FBI. Like, that had been my thing. I went into something a little different, but I thought it
Yeah.
was gonna be cool, you know?
I'm
I was
glad
like,
I'm glad you kept the handcuffs
well, you know.
though.
Gosh.
But no, that was just it. These people act like, we've never done a strong female character before. Really? And they've also come up with this idea that it's been nothing but toxic masculine
Yes.
men throughout cinema for 100 years.
Yeah, toxic
It,
masculine men and desperate, helpless females.
it,
Like, does
has
nobody
any
know Mae West? Like, no.
Catherine Hepburn,
Yeah. So many. Maureen O'Hara.
Maureen O'Hara. Oh, Maureen O'Hara.
Yeah.
D- d- I mean, does nobody have any idea?
I did? Uh-oh.
You gave
'Cause of my
Miami a heart
mini
attack.
stroke that I just had. Sorry. Sorry,
Stroke.
Miami. It happens. Not
It's
enough mushrooms. I didn't take my mushrooms today.
uh-oh.
I didn't.
But it just infuriates me.
It's frustrating because I feel like one thing
Hey,
that
Mel.
hey, Mel, the generations before ours, and even the millennials, because you'll hear a lot of millennials talk about, "Oh, I loved this movie," and it'd be like from the 80s. Like, "Oh,
Have
I
you ever
love."
seen Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and they at least have some kind of, generational perspective that
right,
I feel like the current generations coming up don't have any generational perspective because I don't know if it's because they're not exposed to it or they're overly bombarded with the media that comes out now, and so they don't have time
right,
to look back to the old stuff. They don't have the time to be bored, to be like, "Oh, what's this movie?" You know?
right. And kind of get back on the track of talk about strong female leads in movies before the year 2000.
The year
They
2000.
they were strong women that stood out along with a strong leading man.
Right.
You didn't have to take down the male character in order to lift up the female character. They were equals.
Y
They
and
were
they
on the same level.
yeah, they had their own strengths and qualities. It wasn't a competition.
Right.
Yeah. That's
It
something that's lost, I feel like, in a lot of storylines nowadays. It feels like there's always a competition happening between the
yeah.
male and the
And it's
female.
one thing if there's a back and forth, but if it's one sided one way or the other, nobody wants to watch that.
Not really. No, because then it just feels like a cat fight. Meow.
Yeah, because that's all it
Yeah.
is.
Drama. Who wants to watch that?
I know, right?
Okay, some people do. I
Some people do. Yeah, it's well,
I told you not to have me as your co-host today because I would derail you
oh, that's okay.
with my trains of thought that
Again, this is why I have notes.
just weave around.
No,
Meow.
no, but there is one of the things I wrote down was people nowadays look more for more of the back drama. They look for more of the flaws in a character as opposed to looking what the character stands for.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
looking at and politics does have a lot to do with it, but it's also an obsession with drama.
I would completely agree with that. People like to know the dirty laundry
Right.
and what's in the closet and, okay, is this person genuine or are they fake? Because so many people have been burnt by, you know, false idols, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But that's the nice thing about fictional heroes. You don't have to get into all that.
No, and that's I feel like that's one thing that's truly missing is now you have such a blurring of what's good and evil, what's wrong and right in a movie. There's so much gray, and people, I know
Yeah.
people come out with the argument of, "Well, that's the way life is. Life is great." Yeah, but I'm not watching a movie to imitate life. I'm watching a movie because I want to escape. I
Yeah.
want a true sense of wrong and right.
Yeah.
I don't need all the gray. There's enough gray in my life to fill up, 12 Seattles.
Not enough color out there for all that
Not enough
gray.
color. That's right. Too much
Yes.
gray. I should know. But you've gotten away from wrong and right. From every villain now has to have a sad backstory
Empathize and
so
feel
you can
sorry for.
empathize.
Yeah. So your heart can go out to that villain and rationalize why they're a villain.
No, because I want him to die. I want him to fall off Nakatomi Plaza. He's bad. He's a bad guy.
He was a very suave and sophisticated bad guy, though.
Yeah, but he was still bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And he was a liar. He was just there to steal bear bonds.
He was smart.
Spoiler alert.
That's a good grift.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Later, Miami. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, thanks, Miami. Quit saying that W word. Ugh.
Blech.
Mm, mm, mm,
Don't make movies like they used to. Ain't that the truth?
mm, mm, mm.
Let's see here. So, talking about the, where we were talking about how nowadays they build up a strong female character and then make the male character weak.
Yeah.
To me, that what came to mind immediately when I thought of that was how they did Luke.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see Luke in the original trilogy, he's a hero through the whole way through. He has his growing pains, and the first one's
Yeah.
very whiny,
Yeah.
but he's a hero in every sense of the word. They come out with the sequels, the last three movies,
Mm-hmm.
and they completely destroyed him.
I did not like how they portrayed him because I felt like in my own world, like how I see existence, you go through a series of trials, adversities, and you grow and you learn from them,
Right.
right?
A hero's journey.
A hero's journey. And what they did to Luke was they made him regress to be someone who was just as insecure, weak, and ignorant as he had been when he was going through the initial growing pains. It's like, why did you make him regress?
Right.
I didn't like that at all. I was very, very disappointed. And then he had to go through the hero's journey all over again in the movie. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
one, the timeline's not right. You didn't why? I didn't get it.
And you're totally right, Mel. Disney ruined him. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was that basically when you come to him in the sequels, instead of him being a wise Jedi master
Yeah.
who saw the good in his father to be able to turn him because he was the ultimate villain, you turned him into somebody who was bitter, wanted nothing to
Yeah.
do with saving the galaxy or saving others, tried to kill his own nephew because he saw a little bit of evil in him. It's not Luke.
That was not
It's
Luke.
not.
And that's definitely not the journey into older adult life, because what you hope for is that someone will become the Obi-Wan, the wizened
Yes.
observer, the
Right.
friendly older observer who knows they're sitting back and they're watching you as you make your stupid foibles,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Mhm, I bet that hurt, didn't it?
Hurt, didn't it?
I bet
It's what
that
you should have
hurt."
done.
Yeah, I mean, and what they did to Luke was not that. It was not that. They turned him into a very mm-mm. Bitter is the good word. He
They turned
was.
him into a bitter coward.
Yeah.
Is
A hermit
exactly what they
too. I
did.
don't mind the hermit part because
Well,
I think
yeah, because I mean, how many of those old samurai movies did you see where the hero's going to be trained and then there's the wise old master living on top
yeah,
of a hill?
yeah,
You
because they don't
know,
wanna fool with that foolishness, you know?
it's like, no, I've separated myself from the world
Yeah.
so that I can have my peace. And if you want training, you're gonna have to come up here to me.
I think that's a good point too about your hero. You know, they don't even let older people be wise anymore in a hero role.
No, especially if you're male.
True.
Well,
Dang, that is true.
if you're male, you're now portrayed as stupid, bumbling,
Codgety.
crotchety.
Codgety. I think I made up a word.
You did. It was a great
Part of
word.
Diva's new vocabulary.
It's a great word.
Ah, somebody will rewatch the stream and be like, "Is Diva okay?
Is she okay? Is she okay?
She alright?" No.
No, it. And I know a lot of the reason that we're having to put up with all this is, like you had said before, bad unoriginal writing.
Well, it's fun, like, when Shizzy and I have done the spicy streams, and we're
Yeah,
using the Chat GBT. At first, I was like, "What is Chat GBT gonna throw up here? You know, what is it gonna create?" And
yeah,
then I saw it had, like, a protocol that it would follow, and it was always it had kind of the same anticipated storyline. You knew what it
Right.
was gonna be, and I feel like what they are doing now with movies is they're taking really good concepts like Star Wars or like thankfully, they haven't touched the Alien franchise horribly yet.
Oh, just wait.
Well, Promethean was a good spin on the but anyway,
True.
um, but they just load it in the ChatGPT, and then what pops out is what they're they market because they know that there's gonna be enough people who are like, "Oh, okay, it's got this label of Star Wars or whatever. I'll go
Yeah.
watch it."
People would go just because it's Star Wars. And
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that. I've seen a lot of bad Star Wars ideas coming from Disney. And I
Yeah.
watched it only because it was Star Wars. And I sit there hoping, okay, maybe they fixed it this time. And they haven't.
Well, they bank on that branding,
Yes.
and, eh,
Well, it's
then
what they paid for.
yeah, and then you do kind of feel jaded, like, "Oh, I am just caught in this
Yes.
consumer machine of, you know, consuming whatever they produce.
Yeah.
How bad am I hooked?"
Well, it's like, you sit there and watch it and it's like, oh, all right, watch the first one. It wasn't that good, but I'll give it a chance. Maybe it'll get better. And then it gets worse and it gets worse. And then you get to a point where it's like, well, I've watched all this now. Might as well finish it.
Might
And then
as
you're
well keep
done. It's
going.
like, that was disappointing as hell.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've done it with every show.
Well, I can't believe they're when you said, "Yeah, they're gonna be doing another Hunger Games," I said, "But I thought it was finished." I
Well,
thought
she
this
she had written another book that is supposed to be like a prequel, and that it has remember remember the older guy, President Snow?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's about him as a young man.
Oh, so we get to find out his backstory and
Yes,
his
we find out his backstory and
Ooh,
that he trains a volunteer from District 13.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's going to be different.
Hmm. I don't know if I'll watch it.
I'm like, I'll wait for it to come out for free.
You know what I do like seeing them do, though?
What?
The Agatha Christie movies with Hercule Poirot.
Yes, cuz
I love
he is a
those.
great hero.
He is.
He's a
He's
great hero. He's intelligent, he kind of keeps to himself.
yeah.
But it's interesting. There's no allure taken off of him. There's no mystery. He's not some bumbling idiot running around. He's on it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But they're taking it straight from Agatha Christie. They're not trying to take liberties with it.
Right. Right. What you were telling me because I was like, when did Lucas sell Star Wars? And you were telling me all about that
Right.
because it seemed like at that point it just kind of
Yeah.
disconnected from the message.
Yeah. He sold it off before they made the sequels.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
sequels were so
because
bad.
after he sold it off, it all went downhill because they're like, oh no, well, this is the way Georgia wanted it, blah, blah, blah. And then you had Kathleen Kennedy, who used to work with Steven Spielberg, and Spielberg didn't even acknowledge her last time they saw her. And her whole thing was trying to push a very feminist agenda. And you can see that in a lot of the writing.
Yeah. Well, their character development was ugh.
Right. The character development is awful. You took Ray, who's supposed to be a hero, and with Luke, he had to go through a journey to be able to
Yeah.
become the Jedi he was. Ray is just like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. Oh, look, I can do this. I can do this. I don't know where this is coming from, but I can do this. It's like, no, you can't.
Well, it was funny because when I would watch that movie with you, you of course, you know this stuff.
I'm a
I'm
nerd. Okay, I'm a nerd. I get
yeah,
it. I
yeah,
get it.
but and
I
I'm
get it.
I'm watching it with you and I'm thinking, well, that doesn't make sense in the plot line. That doesn't make sense. As a casual consumer that just wants to watch it for entertainment. Good luck, Mel.
Have fun, Mel.
I I didn't understand the plot jumps and
Right.
the plot holes too. There were so many plot holes where it was
Right.
like, how did that get to that?
Right.
And you're like, "Well, they're trying to do this." And I'm like, "How would I know this?"
You wouldn't. That somebody coming in who had no knowledge
Yeah.
of Star Wars at all would sit there and go, what the
Yeah.
hell is
It's
this?
just a
This makes no
disjointed
sense."
story, and it felt very disjointed.
That's the way a lot of it's felt.
Mhm.
That's the way a lot of these movies and shows have felt, with the exception of Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, yeah.
But that's a good example, though. That's a good example of a old school hero, Rip and John Dutton.
Yes. Yes. Well, you get a sense with Rip, like, you understand that he was a little boy when he came to the Duttons and had to learn loyalty to the family and to the brand.
Yeah, he had to learn to be a man.
He did, he had to learn to be a man. And then but it doesn't take away from who he is as a character either.
Right,
Like, they don't have him not being Rip anymore.
right. And
Yeah,
he has a code.
yeah,
Every
and so
man
does
should have a code.
and Dutton does too.
Yeah, Dutton does too.
Yeah, some of their stuff, I'm kinda like, I don't know about that," but they
Well, I
get in a
mean,
lot of drama too.
yeah, they do get in a lot of drama. That's why I don't like.
How many buildings can blow up on somebody?
That's why I like them just doing the cowboy stuff
Yeah,
in that show. I don't necessarily like when they get into all the political stuff, and um I could understand, doing everything you need to do to be able to save your land, but when
yeah,
they get into the actual politics stuff, it's boring.
it is a little bit. Did
I
you ever watch Westerns when you were a kid?
I watched some, yeah.
Because I liked Westerns, and the thing I liked about Westerns is there was always the guy in the white hat, and there was always the guy in the black hat,
Right,
and you knew which one was a good guy, which one was a bad guy,
right,
and it did kinda take you it allowed you to escape where things were a little bit more defined and clear, and it wasn't so murky, and it didn't feel like your life. Like that it
right,
wasn't so gray. There was black, there was white, there wasn't a lot of gray. So, as a form of escapism, it was great to watch a Western because
right.
there wasn't all that mess in it.
And I feel like those stories back then were more personal. Like today, it's more personalized. Oh, this character has to look like this. Oh, this character has to have this opinion, blah, blah, blah. Whereas back then, those stories were more on a kind of like a broader scheme,
Yeah.
like, relationships you have with parents, relationships you have with each other, relationships with your community, standing
Mhm.
up, doing the right thing.
Mhm.
Um, Themes along those lines. That's what grabs my attention
Yeah.
is general themes that people can relate to.
Yeah.
They don't need to look like me. That's dumb. I don't want to see me on screen. I just don't.
Are you sure?
I'm not that pretty.
I think you are. You're so pretty.
Anyway,
So pretty.
you can pat my head and call me pretty.
Next year's Halloween costume.
Yeah, I'll put the unicorn hat on next year.
That would be great.
Oh my goodness.
Bronies? Is that what they were called?
Gross.
The yeah, now that My Little Pony is tainted forever.
See, and now you're freaking me out, and I'm going back to having that movie we watched last night, or show we watched all 6 episodes last night.
Oh, that was really good, though.
It was really good, and
Blackbird.
you did have a hero in that.
You did have a hero. You had a couple of heroes.
Yeah,
You had
but Chew is messed up.
and then you had like
You had the straight up villain that
yes.
nobody could identify with. If you do,
Uh-uh.
you have some problems.
That was such a good show because it had the fella who didn't want to he was the reluctant hero.
Yes,
And
yes,
then you had the ever persistent smart detective who's like, "This doesn't add up."
In case nobody knows what we're talking about, it's a show on Apple TV called Blackbird.
Mm-hmm.
It came out last year. It's a great show. It's only 6 episodes, about an hour apiece,
It was so good.
but
Binged the whole thing.
it's based off a true story about how a guy who is a former drug dealer gets sent to prison.
Jimmy King.
Jimmy Keene, James Keene.
See, I can remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't remember
But
Sully, but
he got, of course, he's incarcerated, but he always come across as somebody that anybody would talk to. Just easily talk to him. Well, they had captured a man for murder of a girl. Supposedly he had actually murdered about 35, but they only caught him on one, and had were trying to get him on another, but he was about to get released on appeal.
mm-hmm.
So they sent Keene in to try to persuade this guy to give up the body so they could keep him in prison for the rest of his life.
Get the
And it's just very interesting watching everything that guy went through. You talk about a hero's journey. That was definitely a hero's journey from the way he started, from the way he started to the way he ended up.
Yep. Yeah.
It's excellent. It's called Blackbird.
Really good.
Well, Diva,
I need a hero.
Great song. Great song. Inspirational song. I get jazzed up every time I play that.
I know. It's a good song. It's a good song. Did you hit every point on your notes?
Yeah, I think I did.
I didn't distract you too bad?
No. You were a welcome distraction.
Okay, good.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. We would definitely appreciate if you would hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Tell all your friends about us. And Diva, got anything else?
Nope, not right now.
All right. Well, keep an eye out for us. We will try. I say we will try to do these more. Yeah, more than every 2 months.
Every quarter.
Every quarter.
I like the every quarter plan.
But thanks everybody for stopping in. Thanks for any of the replay crew who happens to be stopping in. We appreciate you. And hold on just a minute. Hold on.
What you got? Oh, thank you, Lindy.
Thank you, Wendy. We really appreciate you stopping in.
Yes.
All right, guys. Till next time. Peace.
Bye.
And go Vols.